Check. Ba, 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 da, ba, ba, da, ba, da, ba, da. Thinking, stinking. Do I have the VPN on? I do not. Oh, hey, he's still streaming. My channel. Pardon me. Yeah, seems like things are still rocking. Okay, let's get part C's out of there. Hello, fine folks. I hope you're doing okay. Let's take a look at you. I use Discord so rarely. Every time I turn it on, it has 14 updates. It's quite silly. Is this actually? Yeah, hey. Oh, same message. Nice. And we'll turn it off again. I don't need that window. Oh, what happened to my sponsor? Did whatever fucking bot I was using die? Oh, now I'm sad. Oh, it's fine. Lilya forever. Let's oh, we don't need you. There we go. So let's don't really need that on there twice either. Let's pick one of these and see. This is essentially, look how miserable and dark and, whoops, that's not what I wanted. No. Alt Shift? Shit, what is it? Why can't I think of, okay, that's why not, because I'm a moron. So I'm thinking something about her looking in the mirror, but I don't want it just to be this. I do want the wall to be disgusting, though. And this will probably be done in black and white. But I kind of wanted more. Maybe wearing this shirt would be better. Let's see. I don't know. Nope. Although, no, I don't think that works at all. Just grimy, miserable stuff going on. I can't. You can see I just took a lot of screenshots of just the horrible conditions that this lass lived under. See, this was her made up, which maybe would go better. This as a contrast to the horrible surroundings is slightly more made up. I really didn't think too far ahead of what exactly I'm going to draw here. I just, oh, let's see. New, create, boop, boop, boop. I like that. I just like that hair a lot better than that hair. But that's just me. I had the idea of something like her running and maybe her reflection being dressed differently, but that just seems too complicated for my shitty work ethic. I just like this shot. Um, just the disgusting bedroom and what have you, conditions that they live in. I could just do this straight up. That might be more appropriate. Although I like the idea of just her in her bathroom looking in her mirror, trying to be pretty while the building she's living in is crumbling. I just like that idea, but I don't know if I can execute that because I'm terrible. Or at least, let's just start there. And if it doesn't work out, then it doesn't work out. All right, back to this. I was watching somebody, the streamers I watch on a regular basis. Oh, we don't want that. And he made the mistake I constantly make. Of forgetting to switch from one display to the other. And it made me feel slightly less bad because I do that all the time. We want you. We're gonna try to just do this in black and white. Screw that color crap. Why isn't my sponsor working? Is Nightbot down? Is Nightbot dead? RIP Nightbot? I think that's a Nightbot. I don't know. I did that so long ago. So if we just start with, I don't know, let's see. Let's start with this puppy. I kind of like the idea of it just being, well, not that off kilter, but just not absolutely straight. And we got the little shelf going on here. I'm just gonna really wing it, just not worry about having the exact perspective lines. Maybe really loose. Poop. Oh, what the hell is that? I think that's just ripped wallpaper, maybe. Something like that. So how is everybody doing tonight? I hope you're doing well. I have been quite sick the past week. I'm finally feeling better, but I was in pretty bad shape. And it was all body aches. That's where all the pain was. Just, I could barely stand up because just my hips and my knees just hurt so much. And it sucked. Now, let's see. Shadows. Oh, I see. The light is like here. And so that's why this little mirror is casting shadows on the left and the right. Because the light is directly above it. I understand now. And I was like freaking out as I was ill that, okay, I'm broken forever. I live on the second floor and I'm never going to be able to walk up and down those stairs again. I'm just crippled for life, even more so. Because it just hurts so much just to get in and out of my chair. So, but I've recovered. I went for a nice long bike ride yesterday, today. 17 miles, I think I went. That's pretty good. It was painful at first, but eventually it started to be okay. Now, I'm bummed my sponsor's dead. More sponsor. Pretend sponsor. I don't know. Doing just the rough. If I should do that in color. I think it will help me with arrangement. So let's do that kind of color and then we'll fix it in post. So if her face is kind of here, I feel like this could be something where normally I like, oh, hello, Dr. Demiology. I don't know why it's not working. I don't know. I'm going to be operating at a loss for this stream. What are the other commands? Like, yeah. It's just, hopefully it's just Nightbot is down for the day. I guess I could investigate, but I really don't care. So I'm trying a scene from the movie Lilya Forever from 2002. And it's about this woman. Well, she's like a kid. She's probably not even 17 in this movie. Just living this horrible, miserable life. Her mother abandons her. She lives in this disgusting, horrible place. And other stuff happens, but that's swag ever. That's fine. I've forgotten how to even add and subtract sponsors. It's like a text file on some GitHub or some other place that I've forgotten where it is. I could probably find it again if I had to. Not gonna worry. So she's kind of looking in the mirror, and also I had also the idea of her, like her picture, her image in the mirror being different than the person that's looking in the mirror, like the same person but just different versions of her. But I don't want to put that effort into it. Let's transform all of this. Too big. And when I say I don't want to put in the effort, what I mean is I would love to put in the effort, but I know I won't. My concentration and my abilities will fail me before I would be able to execute such a maneuver. So, might as well recognize my limitations. Probably. It should be more lined up, but oh, it's on my Letterboxd watch list. It was a pretty good movie. It is very, very bleak. I mean, just go into the movie knowing it's pretty bleak. It starts out bad and it gets worse. It's just this young, she's just a kid. She's just like barely a teenager trying to survive after her mother abandons her and she loses her apartment, and it's just this derelict town. All the buildings are crumbling. Just visually, it's very broken down. Is that? But for my drawing, I don't think I spoiled it by whatever the hell I just said, but it's good. Just very bleak. Let's just, let's see. Should I do it that way? Let's do it that way. I was doing, and I still kind of am, sort of a theme of a certain type of movie, and Lilya Forever fit that theme. And it's been a kick. And that's as specific as I'm gonna get about it. Did you go to any more concerts before you got sick? I don't think I've streamed since I went to a concert at Club Congress, and it was okay, but the venue kind of sucked. The bands were, I don't know if they were local bands or local-ish bands. I'd never heard of them before. I just went on a whim, basically. But they were fine. But the club, I am at an age where I just cannot stand up for 3 hours watching music. I need to sit down. And there weren't really many places to sit down. And by the time I got in there, which was like 15 minutes after they opened their doors, all of the seats were taken. So I did not enjoy that aspect of it. I would have preferred if I could have just bought a seat or something, but it was just this kind of tiny hole in the wall with a stage. When did I do that? That must have been 2 weeks ago, maybe? So I ended up, there was like a corner booth that you couldn't see the stage or anything. But I just sat there and I just doodled in my sketchbook for like 2 hours while the band was playing. And they weren't doing anything interesting enough that I felt like I needed to actually look at the band. But I probably wasn't the oldest person there, but it was definitely a young person's game. More 20 somethings than 30 or 40 somethings. This looks unimpressive. Let me look at my schedule. What have I been up to lately? I was out like about a week. That's not what I want. Maybe not that long. Um, what did I do? Disney. I went to see some short films. When did I go to? Did I not put it on my calendar? Huh. I guess that was the 11th that I went to see the bands play. Um, eh, well, what kind of sort of well, what did happen? I found a new nurse practitioner finally to help to prescribe my antidepressants, and he suggested going up on uh, one of them, and I just had pretty severe side effects, which I was not anticipating, and I think I may have had like a cold on top of that. I don't know. I never had like a stuffy head. It was mostly body aches. But yeah, it was Vibrid is the name of the antidepressant, and man, I am just like so unhappy about this shoulder. It's making me sad. But yeah, I could barely get up and out of bed. Uh, and I did like, I only went up on the dosage like 3 days. And I said, okay, I looked up the side effects, and everything I was feeling was a side effect of the drug. I even lost a little bit of my sense of taste, but not enough to make me think it was some kind of COVID or anything, just enough to make me feel like, oh, this is a side effect of this thing. Um, let's see. So yeah, that sucked. And I've been going to this thing called Mondo Mondays. It's the local arty movie theater. I may have talked about this before. And they play bad movies, and the crowd is rowdy and cracks jokes and stuff. And I'm probably done with it for the foreseeable future because I enjoy it, but it just kind of sucks to go alone. I thought I might meet some people, but I really haven't. People are kind of already in their little groups, and there's like one guy, and I hate it when this happens. Like one person ruins an otherwise perfectly fine experience, but there's one guy. He has the loudest voice and is maybe the least funny person on the planet. And every time he says something, I just want him to shut up. And the thing is, he'll get like giggles from the crowd maybe 2 or 3 times during the movie. And I know that just encourages him, and that just fuels him more. And it's gotten like, I don't want to be petty about it, and I don't want it to bother me, but it does. And I'm probably just done going there for the foreseeable future because that one jerk is very loud and very unfunny. And he's not like belligerent or anything. He's not like a rowdy drunk or anything. He's just not funny, not interesting. And I'm like trying to make these obscure 90s grunge era band riffs that nobody will get anyway. And then he's just shouting, oh, cocaine, 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 40 times during the movie because he said it once and then he just has to keep saying it over and over and over again. And I don't like competing in that fashion for attention, for laughs. So anyway, it's like an otherwise perfectly fun thing and a perfectly fine thing that just one guy in the crowd just ruins for me. And like I said, maybe if I had a group to go with, it wouldn't bother me so much. but I haven't really managed to do that. I am still having problems with some sort of conflict with my shortcuts with Krita, and I tried very hard to figure out what the problem was and how to fix it, and I could not. I'm too dumb. So I'm just trying to be more slow with my shortcuts when I switch to erase and rotate, and it's not really working very well, but I don't know what else I can do about it. It's kind of like the microphone still sounds like shit, but you can hear what I'm saying, and I just don't even know where to look to fix it. I've tried everything I know how to do. I don't think it's a bad microphone. It just sounds murky. Yeah. See, it's doing it right now. Fuck. Videodrome. Listening to people laugh in movie theaters upsets me, which is so dickish. Oops. I can appreciate that. I can understand that. I mean, as much as you want people to be quiet in movie theaters, part of the experience is kind of that shared laughter and whoops. There we go. And if you're not into that, if it detracts from the experience more than it adds to it, then I can kind of understand that, just not really enjoying it. Because some days when I'm irritated, that bugs me too. Just other people maybe just politely mumbling to each other, and I just shut the fuck up. Some days it bugs me, and some days it does. Where am I going with this? What am I trying to do? This is really all about atmosphere. I just want to get these little objects and things here. I don't know, the back of her head. I feel like this is just very difficult pose to do. Well, in some of them she has her arm up, but I just felt like that was too distracting. It took away. Or should I just do a completely different face? I don't know. I mean, I have to draw her shoulders from the back because otherwise it will look like she's looking through a window. And it said this movie was based on a true story. It sounded like but from reading the actual story, it sounded like they took specific elements and kind of made this movie around it. They didn't necessarily try to make an accurate portrayal. I should have taken another ref of over her shoulder, but I didn't. Goal is to get to Bugs Bunny at the Symphony, but I'm not sure if I'll be able to sit through. Now, is that they're going to have a live symphony, live instruments, while playing a Bugs Bunny cartoon? I've heard of that could be fun. That seems like the sort of thing where people would sit and be polite and respectful during the performance. But I mean, that's just my guess. I don't really actually know. I couldn't tell you. But people would be more polite for that than, say, just a random movie or some local band. I can't even remember what the name of the bands were that I saw. They were just that unimpressive. One of the bands, and I wore headphones for everything because I can't listen to like super loud music without headphones because it sounds so awful. But one of them, the bass was so blown out, I want to say, that just it just covered up any other sound. You could barely hear the drums or the guitars because the bass was just and you couldn't hear any bass notes. And I just felt like, well, do they know how bad this sounds? I mean, nobody in the crowd seems to be telling them, listen, your bass amp sucks, or you don't know how. You're just creating noise for the sake of being loud. It's not actually entertaining, but maybe I'm the only one who felt that way. That's how I feel about bass that's too loud in the first place. I kind of want to give her her other hair. I think if you did go to see the Bugs Bunny at the Symphony and it was really upsetting you, I don't know how much the tickets would cost. But I mean, you could always leave, especially if you're there on your own. If you're really struggling, really having a hard time. There's just too much space right here. But, oh. A few of the things that I've been doing, I've kind of had to leave earlier than I would like just so I can get to the bus. Because in theory, I could take a lift to get home, but I really don't want to pay $20 if I can just take the bus for free. What? Is it because I don't know, okay, what if anyway. That smaller. I don't know, I've been getting a bit discouraged even before I got sick and had all of that pain. Just haven't. It's just a challenge to get out and be social. And it's just starting to feel like I wasn't even enjoying it that much. But like when the Super Bowl Sunday, I just said, "Oh, I'll just go downtown and I'll just find some place to hang out and watch the game." And I thought I could do it, but every place was pretty packed and my anxiety was way over the top. I ended up just wandering around downtown for like 90 minutes and then just going home. So it's still tough. It's tough. Why don't I Start doing. Do I? Nope, 0, 0. I really wanted to just take a break from doing color art. I think it's becoming more of a chore than a fun thing to do. So I just wanted to give it a bit of a break. Because I did a drawing, just shaded gray, and it wasn't so laborious, and I was happier with how it turned out. So I just kind of wanted to do that a bit. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Boopy boop. I don't to fix this. Just seems to be a theme lately. Things are broken and I just don't know how to fix them. Oh. Adding color is real daunting sometimes. I find it harder to finish stuff than I did before. Yeah. And I'm not sure if it's color itself that is giving me the challenge or detracting from my enjoyment, or just the way I've been doing it, and maybe I just need to find a different way. I have seen some artists, seen some digital tutorials on the YouTubes, and they just draw everything in black and white and, have gray values and stuff. And then as a final step, they add color to it. And you can barely tell the difference between that and somebody who does the whole thing in color. Mostly. But yeah, I feel like any minute now I'm going to figure out that workflow. I'm going to come up with a style that I'm happy with. I'm going to find my thing and just do that. Any minute now. It's only been 4 decades I've been trying to figure it out. This is all right. But it has occurred to me lately that I just don't like drawing the same things over and over, and that's just the way I'm built, and that is what stands in the way of consistency. And that's just the way it's going to be forever. I don't even know if bored is the word. Just Yeah, these, I don't know. I just get frustrated. I just can't stand, like, I don't know, drawing women's faces over and over again or drawing animals over and over again. And I just hit this, and I'm kind of starting to feel that way about doing these movie scenes that I've been doing the past few months. I'm starting to feel like, yeah, I've done it. And it's stupid and I'm wasting my time. I need to do something else. It's more interesting and more creative. And it just that happens to me every time. Oh, I think I kind of know I'm not going to be able to capture her age. It's probably going to look too old. However I do this, probably won't even look like a woman. Just this weird face. Oh, well, gotta trust the process, right? No, now she looks happy. She can't look happy. Not allowed to look happy. You look pouty. Sag? Isn't that what the kids say? Instead of sad, they say Sag. Yeah, how I don't know how I'm gonna keep track of things, like how I'm gonna remember to save or anything. Nightbot gone. It's like we're living in the dark ages. How did people live this way? How did society function without Nightbot? All right, let's do a different layer for hair. That'll be easier. Uh, I mean, even though I have been struggling and I still have the depression and the social anxiety and stuff, I still feel like I'm doing a billion times better than if I had stayed in Maine. Because even though I'm hard on myself and I wish I was doing better, I don't have that intense dread and hatred for myself that I did. Maybe it'll come back eventually. I don't know. But for the time being, I feel like I am better off. Uh, so I have to remind myself of that every now and then. Yeah, this is hard. And there's still struggle and all of that, but it could be worse. I had a nightmare that I still lived in Maine and I hadn't moved yet, and it was so demoralizing. It's like, oh God, I gotta do all this shit. I thought I was done with it. It's just no fondness at all for that horrible nightmare state. I just feel like all of this trauma and misery I left behind, I don't want to ever go back. Not for funerals, not for weddings, never, never. I did have an idea because I went to see an open mic at a comedy club and I want to go to more open mics. I think it was kind of fascinating, even the less, I probably talked about this, but even the less polished people I just found entertaining in a way, kind of in a train wreck way, and kind of just in a just admiration for somebody just not very good at a thing, just getting up on stage and doing the thing anyway. But I've been trying to think of just like silly bits I could do if I ever wanted to get on stage, do an open mic. I like, I find the idea appealing of having that instantaneous reaction. Either people laugh or they don't, or even just look mildly interested at what you're doing. I find that kind of appealing. Maybe that would be a more interesting platform for me for that. But anyway, I've been trying to think of stupid bits, stupid jokes, stuff that makes me laugh, that maybe I could get on a stage and talk about. And I do like the concept of just talking about movies. I write about movies all the time, so I have material that I can nab from. Oh God, this is driving me crazy, and I can't fix it, and it's awful. Oops, what did that happen? But anyway, my opener. I think it would be funny to say this. This is way too much preamble. Or as uninteresting as it's going to be. Anyway, and I wouldn't even have to do this on a stage. I could just say this to anybody, but just mention, hey, I just moved here, Tucson, Arizona from Maine. And the biggest difference I've noticed between Tucson and Maine is you have a lot less murder clowns in Tucson than there are in Maine. Pretty nice. I mean, sure, murder clowns only come out every 30 years or so, but still, that's just a generation of kids that gets wiped out. It's really annoying. All right, well, that looks better than that. It looks bad, but it looks better. I did have a friend who lived supposedly at his house was on a corner that the drain of the sewer little drain thing. Like Spider-Man, I knew you were going to say something about it. You have Spidey sense. Well, it's a popular culture reference that I feel is enough that 5 or 6 people would get it. But supposedly where he lived was right the street he lived on, like 10 feet away from his house was the drain that inspired the famous scene from It, where Pennywise murders what's his face. But I have a feeling that there wasn't any specific spot, just in sort of cocaine alcohol haze. Stephen King just whipped it up, and then somebody asked him, so he just, I don't know, in the corner of Maine and First. But there was a tour that went around town, and I'm sure they still exist. And they would go to spots and say, this is where Stephen King's thought of this, and this is where, oops, this is what I want. I never went on that Stephen King tour. See, I just can't do pretty. Just can't do it. What happens if, let's see, filter layer, desaturate, okay. This. This is a good start, I think. It's okay. I don't know. Just thoughts. If I do that, then that completely covers up her ear. I think I can polish this so it's not quite so bad. But I've got all of this other shit to draw. Should. Oh, tonight, Tuesday night, at a place, a theater downtown, they're going to be showing a Vincent Price movie that I was going to go to. Like The Horrible Dr. Phoebes or The Incredible Terrible Dr. Phoebes or something. I don't remember if I've ever seen it before or not. But there is like a horror sci-fi fan meetup group that is going to it. The Abominable Dr. Phoebes. Oh, Joseph Cotton's in it too. So I'm thinking maybe I want to go to that and maybe meet some sci-fi horror fans, and hopefully that will be cool. Let's just try to do black and white from here and see what happens. Should I? Maybe. Shit. Mumble, mumble. Mumble, grumble. But if I shrink it, then that shoulder is going to look huge again, and I don't want it to look huge. Down a bit. Sounds neat. Nothing pre-80s gets played that much in theaters here. Yeah. Well, that's one of the reasons why I came here, is because there were a couple of artsy movie theaters. Not just movie theaters, but theaters, period, that also have screens that play movies. And that appealed to me. There is a museum of contemporary art that I kind of want to go to, but it looks like the displays that they have right now are just garbage, just really, really bad. And it still might be interesting to go to. I don't know. But I kind of want to wait until there's something better playing. Not playing, but displayed. I need free museum passes with your library card. I don't have a library card yet. I just filled out the paperwork last week before I got super sick. I just filled out the paperwork to get a new license, a new Arizona license. And probably that will be my ticket to the library card, and I can find that out. I actually, when I went to the Tucson Museum of Art, just because I had a Bank of America credit card, I got in for free. I don't know what the deal was there, but I didn't argue. Do I have any reference photos? But that is something I will have to investigate. It didn't really occur to me that some places would let you in with a library card. Do I have any references of the back of her head? Probably not. Not really. Because I'm a dummy. We could try that. I do really want to get back to reading to go to sleep instead of dicking around on my phone and doing puzzles on my phone when I'm trying to sleep. I think it's more relaxing to read books. So I do want to get a library card. Anyway, state specific, but here my local library has rentable passes you get as a card holder. You have to physically go there and get it. That's, I mean, I've heard of programs like that. The last place, the Norman Rockwell in Stockbridge that way. That's cool. Oh, they do have a Van Gogh exhibit, but it's way up north, northern Tucson. But I might, it's like a 2-hour bus ride, but I might do it anyway. It's like a 3D Van Gogh exhibit. It's like a traveling exhibit that I've heard of anyway, and they have it here in Tucson. I really want to go to that at some point. I don't think it was especially pricey or anything, but it looks pretty cool. Let's see. Van Gogh Experience. The immersive experience. Tucson. Let's see if I can find any decent photos or something. VR experience. I don't care about that because that would just hurt my eyeballs. But I think it's more than just screens. I think it's like projectors that project on all of the walls. You can kind of see. No, that's where it is. And it looks like some like actual sculptures, not sculptures, but you know, displays and projections on. This looks like a projection onto a bust of some kind. So I want to go to that. That is Oro Valley. Do they have price? About an hour and 15 minutes. All ages, yay. No price, but I think that would be fun to go to. I don't know how long it's going to be there. 10,000 square feet of screens. Exciting. The VR one. Yeah, maybe. It looks like it has virtual reality as one of the things that are there. But yeah, I would like to do that. Probably within the next month or so, I should put that on my vision board, whatever. I don't like doing the back of her head and all you can see is the hair. I kind of want to see some ear or face or something. But I don't know. I don't know if they've done that with other artists. The kind of exhibit. If not, they probably will. I know there was a Salvador Dali museum in St. Petersburg, Florida that I always wanted to go, but I never did. Was it Tampa or St. Petersburg? One of those. I really enjoyed going to the museum, Tucson Museum of Art, by myself. Because I found going with other people, just everybody kind of moves at their own pace. And everybody is interested in different things and wants to linger on some stuff and wants to breeze by other stuff. And just not having to worry about that was kind of nice. Let's see. I will, just because you asked nicely, I'll show off some of the museum pictures. Why not? Why not? Just here. All right, you'll have to excuse some of all of this noise, but this was just a ye old Rodin sculpture. Silver mine worker. It's happening. Let's see. They had a lot of indigenous art, sort of Aztec and modern Hispanic artwork. I really like that one. I like that style a lot. Sort of that ink print woodcut look. but sort of a lot of figures dancing. I guess that was a part of sort of the pre-colonial culture, maybe I want to say. So it's just an abstract piece I found interesting. It looked like seaweed to me. And this stuff, cool stuff, stuff like this, just a style you just don't see with like the typical European Renaissance, Impressionism painting that I was taught. Just very decorative outfits and kind of interesting. This is another Rodin, severed head of St. John the Baptist. I just thought this was funny because it felt like the frame and the painting were competing with each other. And also that figure looks weird as hell. That character looks like they're 13 going on 50. Oh, it's interesting prints. And this was more sort of, I want to say Aztec era, but I don't recall. Sort of that America's style. This one I only took a picture of because I'm not sure who this is. It doesn't look like a Rodin. I'm not sure who this was, but all right, you'll have to forgive the boobies, but just because her feet are so ugly, I just found it. Oh, it's a pretty lady with really ugly feet. And I know it's not good to body shame, but I just thought that was funny. And some more stuff. I don't normally care about Christ imagery. I find it to be very bland, but I liked this one. This weird glass blown. What was it called? Crossing the desert. I thought that was funny. And kind of interesting. This is a candle holder, I believe. And more non-European art. Dragon boat. And these masks were pretty cool. I dug those. And this is more kind of the outfits of the sort of dancing that they would do. And back to the Rodin. So yeah. Wasn't that interesting? Just a small sample of what you would see at the Tucson Museum of Art. And there were a few things that you just couldn't capture on camera that I wish I could share, but like there was one, it was like string along. Yeah, this is some cool stuff. It was string along a wall, and when you looked at it from a certain angle, it formed children. And I couldn't really capture that on camera. And that was really cool. And there was one that was pretty big, pretty large. I want to say like, I don't know how long, like maybe 10 feet long, 3 feet high. But some artist took a picture of everything that they owned and then laid it all out in a picture. It was very organized and orderly. It was as if, let's see, show by example. Just little objects and like every piece of clothing that they had and every book and every pen and every folder just sort of organized in this grid. And it was just everything that they owned. And I don't know, it's kind of interesting. And that was something I couldn't really capture with just one photo. That's not here. Let's see. This is not going to be one of my best works, but that's okay. Still having a big issue with how to frame this in her shoulder, but what if we just do this? Don't worry about the frame. Just do 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 do. My friend, my lawyer friend who lives in Sarasota and is dying of cancer, is every time I talk to him, he just, I mean, he's always like super optimistic guy anyway, but he just like wants to congratulate me on moving and just trying to tell me how amazing it was that I did it, and being pretty poor and limited. Necklace here, I don't know. But it's like he's positive to the point, not toxic positivity, but it just gets annoying. I just want to tell him sometimes, all right, I get it. You think that I'm doing great, and just shut up about it. But I will never say that to him. I might as a joke. We still do the watching the bad movies every week. And when he first got sick, which was like way back in May, and they only gave him like 6 months to live, and he's still kicking. But when he first got sick, and I'm the guy who picks the movies for the most part, and I just felt like, okay, I just need to pick movies that will make him happy. He's on his way out. So he likes the 50s and 60s monsters movies. That's the stuff he grew up with, and the Roger Corman stuff. And so I just picked those exclusive movies for months to keep him happy. But he just keeps sticking around and hanging around. And I've just been getting so sick of Roger Corman movies. And I've told him, I like more variety with my shitty movies, not just 50s and 60s monster movies. There's lots of action and fantasy from all decades, and sci-fi that are terrible from all kinds of eras, different eras. And I've started to open it up a bit. Last Saturday, well, actually Sunday, but we watched this movie called Double Trouble. That was, one brother was a cop and one was a diamond thief. And there's this plot of like an international diamond smuggling ring that they were trying to stop together. But the thing is, the lead actors, and I use that term very loosely, were these two bodybuilders called the Barbarian Brothers. And they were in 3 or 4 movies. And they're just these bodybuilder meatheads that have no business acting. And they just stuck them in a bunch of movies. And it was hilarious. Let's see. Let's see. This is from a different movie of theirs, actually called Barbarians. But just these, I mean, they seem like perfectly fine people. Oh, this was the movie that we watched, Double Trouble. And they're just a couple of dudes. And these feathery mullets. Oh, it was gloriously horrible. Oh, you've seen it. But yeah, I thought that was a fun, shitty movie. It wasn't a 50s or 60s monster movie, and they seemed to enjoy it. What if we just take that out altogether? That face still irks me, but I think I'll get to it another time. It'll look okay. They were in, I think they were in 2 or 3 more movies, and they also had like bit parts in a bunch of other movies. They just, and the really funny thing, Tom kept pointing this out, and it really made him laugh, is they're just so bulked up and they're just so roided out. Every time they would try to do some action, they try to throw a punch or even just run down a hallway, it looked like they could barely move. It looked like could barely get one leg in front of the other because they just had so many muscles. That was pretty hilarious. I kind of want to. I don't know. What do I want to do? But that was fun. That was fun. And the music, it sounded like they were pretty much. They tried to make it as much of a sound alike of Beverly Hills Cop music as they possibly could. That was pretty funny. Let's I mean, I know this line here is going to go, but it helped for proportions. And I know this chin is not quite working, and everything else doesn't work, but oh, I'm not sure what we're going to watch next week. I was thinking, what do I have written down? War of the Satellites from 58. That's more of sort of the 50s, 60s wheelhouse sci-fi movies. Maybe. I think what I want to do is some of this wall and some of these toiletries. See, with the actual photo, that actual scene, you can just see how gross and the wall is. I really want to capture that, but that's going to be a challenge, but I think it'll be fun. And watching that movie Double Trouble, Dave, one of the guys, the brother of the guy dying from cancer, he seemed distressed for a moment because he asked me if I watched the movies all the way through first before we watched them on Saturday. Just the thought of me having to watch that same movie twice in a week seemed to distress him, but I told him that I didn't. I skimmed through it and I watch movie trailers and I read reviews, but I don't watch the entire movie to see if it's appropriate. I want tubes. I have another tablet that I bought. I use an XP pen display tablet is what I'm using right now. And I bought another one for my laptop so I could travel and do stuff. But it stopped, the display stopped working. And I tried to replace the cord and still having that problem. And the most frustrating thing is it was intermittent. It didn't completely stop working. Sometimes it would work and sometimes it would not work. And that is just one of the hardest things to diagnose and one of the hardest things to explain to somebody else is when there is a problem that comes and goes at random. Because there's a chance that it just won't happen when you're trying to show it to them, or when they're trying to diagnose it, it's unpredictable when the behavior happens, so it's hard to figure out what the stimulus is. But anyway, so I sent an email to their help because it was too late for me to just straight up return it to Amazon. This looks like a baby's bottle and I don't want it to. And they wanted some pictures of what was happening. So I thought, well, I'll just take a video of it and then they can see exactly what the problem is. And the thing was, if I held the cord in tightly, the display would work. But if I let loose, then the display would stop working. And I thought, well, a video would be the best way to illustrate that. And I tried to take a video of it, and it was inconsistent whether or not it happened. And trying to capture that on video was so frustrating because sometimes it worked and sometimes it didn't. And I tried to illustrate, well, when I hold the cord in, it works, and it doesn't. And sometimes it wouldn't work at all, and sometimes it just worked fine whether or not I held the cord in. That I haven't been that angry in a long time. I don't usually get very angry, but that was so upsetting to me, and I never got a clean video, and I don't know what to do now. But that was so irritating. I haven't tried XP Pen yet. I have the Huon Canvas 13, which has been good, except for one of the USB-C ports broke. That's irritating. Well, I hope you've got some good use out of it. I'm pretty happy with XP Pen. I think for the price, it's pretty nice. I got a decent sized screen, and I like that it has a little dial on it that I don't think Huon or Wacom has, or they've got like weird touch sliders or things that I don't like as much as this little dial, this red dial that clicks. And I use it to increase and decrease the brush size. But the smaller one that I bought for my laptop, it just was defective, and that was pretty irritating. Because I had another one, it wasn't a display tablet, it was just a drawing tablet, and that one was pretty good for a few years. And then the buttons just started to not. But I had that for maybe 4 years, maybe I had that one. I had it for quite a while. It's a wireless keyboard. Yeah, I have my wireless keyboard, but I also bought this. What is this? This is Zense Labs remote that I like, that I've been using for shortcuts. It's pretty nifty, and it has a little display to tell you exactly what the buttons do. I think it was $100. Let's see. Quick keys, is that what that is? that's not what I want. Yeah. This guy here, I bought. I have this, and I like it. I'm pretty happy with it. I was briefly looking at, what do they call them? Like stream decks? And maybe using that one for just for a shortcut, just for a little shortcut keypad. But they were much more expensive for what I would really use them for, even though they would have nifty keys that had their own displays and stuff, but it wasn't very cost effective. It was just the novelty of it that seemed fun. Maybe I need a new stylus. Maybe that's what my problem is with these conflicts happening. I do have a wireless keyboard. I kept buying these cheap Logitech keyboards, and then I finally just got sick of it. They were so crappy, and I bought a mechanical keyboard. But I don't like, I know people love mechanical keyboards because they love how clicky, or that is one of the appeals for people, is how loudly they click when they type. And I absolutely hate loud keyboards, so I avoided it for a long time. But then I did like days of research, and I figured out you can buy switches that are very quiet. I bought the quietest switches I could find, and I'm pretty happy with it. It's just a nice keyboard, and it's not loud. It's kind of heavy, but I and it was a little, buying the keyboard itself and then buying the switches that were quiet was not super pricey, but more expensive than a cheap Logitech that gets the job done. I think I bought that when I was just in despair and I felt like I was never going to get out of Maine. CSP has a remote in-app. I'm not sure if you can use that unless you have the subscription. CSP, I don't know what CSP is. Oh, but I do like how programmable this keyboard is, because the Logitech, cheap Logitech keyboards said they were programmable, but if my computer went to sleep, then it would take like 30 seconds before it would remember the shortcuts once you woke it up again, and that was not okay. That was not workable for me. This is stupid. But this keyboard that I have, I forget what the name of it is. Keychron. Oops. Crash. Should I? I don't know. I am starting to experience some eyeball pain. I may have to call it a stream soonish. Let's try to go another 10 minutes and see how I'm feeling. I hate my stupid body. Just sucks. This thing is Clip Studio Paint. Ah, okay. Current popular art program. They recently made the updates paid. Ah. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah, I feel like I probably could learn other art programs, but I just don't want to bother. Maybe there's something out there that's a superior program, but I just don't want to relearn everything and learn all different shortcuts and all of that shit. If I have to, I will. If Krita goes under, or I don't know, I get some job or something that involves where I need to use another program, I will, but I'm fine with this for now. I like to learn exactly as much as I need to do what I want and nothing more. That is that too big? I don't know. Oh, there's a toothbrush. I didn't draw the toothbrush. I will always be underwhelming, underperforming. Oop, 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 oop. It's good for now. Original Paint Tool Psi. I've heard of that one. It's a particularly nice brush engine. What the program has. CSP is more comics oriented than other programs. I see. Yeah, it seems like every program has its little niche that it specializes in. And if that's what you want to do, like comics, then you're fine sticking with that one. I think this bottle might be too large. Oh, why is that happening? I've been kind of trying to think of just comic ideas, even just like simple 3-panel comics or something, and I just keep coming up with nothing. I don't really have any ideas that are been coming to me. Comics were all I wanted to do for the longest time. And now I just can't think of anything to do. Even like autobiographical or stupid gag or something. It's just, I don't know. Series of tubes. Well, how is it? It must be 4:30 on the East Coast. Something I never had to worry about before is calculating what time it is on the East Coast, since I occasionally talk to friends and family on the East Coast, or if I just want to watch something live, like a basketball game. Trying to figure that out. Although I haven't watched any NBA games this year because it just sucks as a product. It's just not fun to watch anymore. And also, there's a player on my historically favorite team that is an anti-vax, anti-Semite piece of garbage. And so I can't, it's hard to root for that team or that league. So I just really haven't watched much basketball. So my comic, after my beta readers thought it could be interpreted poorly, it made me pretty depressed. Yeah. Oh yeah, I know that feeling when you invest in a thing and then something comes up or there's some reaction to it or something you don't anticipate that just kind of makes the whole thing moot or not worth putting out there. And it's pretty defeating. As a gag, I want to say photoshopped, even though it wasn't photoshopped, a picture of a very young Willem Dafoe in place of Leonardo DiCaprio in Titanic. It was just one picture from one scene of Leo and Kate Winslet in Titanic, and I put young Willem Dafoe there instead of Leo. And I spent quite a while on it because photo manipulation isn't really what I do. And I thought it was just hilarious and so stupid and so funny. And then I just looked up Willem Dafoe and Titanic, and somebody out there made a video where they replaced Kate Winslet's face with Willem Dafoe. And it was like a 30-second video of like trailers, like a trailer, and her face was replaced by Willem Dafoe. And that was just so much more than I had done and so much funnier than what I had done. And I just felt so defeated and depressed. I just spent a lot of time on this silly, stupid thing that made me laugh. And somebody else out there did it a million times better than I ever could. And that was pretty depressing. I don't know if that's, yeah. I think that's kind of in the same ballpark as you work on the thing and then you shelve it and then you just bummed. And I think I just deleted all the files because I didn't ever want to see it ever again, the thing that I worked on. I can't stand drawing this anymore. I mean, it's okay for an hour and a half doodle, but I'm completely sick of it. So I will get back to it another time. Well, thank you for hanging out. Thank you for watching. If there's anybody lurking or watching the video, the VOD later, thank you. It's very nice of you. I am going to probably eat something and then maybe watch something. Have a wonderful night. Thank you for watching. Thank you for not watching. Goodbye.